Okay, yes, you're welcome once again, my dear children. This is teacher Paul Wawire. We are going to have another lesson for week 7, as I had promised you that we shall always have these lessons, and here we are ready for another lesson. This is lesson 32. It is our second lesson of this week 7, and in this lesson we are going to introduce a new topic called natural resources in Uganda. What are natural resources? Natural resources, first of all, these are the things that we need, or the things that people use in our environment. Now, we have what we call a resource. Before I introduce natural resources, what is a resource? You have to know what a resource is. As I had already said earlier, a resource is anything that man uses to meet his needs. That's what a resource means. A resource is anything in the environment that can be used to satisfy man's needs. Or you can say, is anything that man uses to meet his needs. That is a resource. Anything that people use, whether it was made or it exists naturally, it is a resource. However, resources have two types. We have the natural resources and man-made resources. So we are going to emphasize natural resources because that is our topic. However, we also have some things that are made by man, and those are called man-made resources or artificial resources. So, having known what a resource is, we shall move on and look at the types of resources. I've already mentioned this earlier, and I said we have natural resources and also artificial or man-made resources. Anything that man uses to meet his needs is a resource. Therefore, we have natural resources and man-made or artificial resources. Okay, let's move on with our lesson. Now, what is a natural resource? These are things that things provided by nature that people use to satisfy their needs. One can also say these are things that exist on their own and are useful to man. Things that exist on their own and are useful to man, or things that satisfy man's needs and they exist on their own. For as long as you have that concept, the knowledge of things used by man and they exist on their own, whichever words you use, you may not cram these very words I've used, but you just have to understand it that things that exist on their own and are useful to man. If we say provided by nature, that means those things are not made by man, but they exist on their own, or they are provided by nature. Okay, let us move on with the lesson. We have already said the things that exist on their own and are useful to man. I've already given you the two definitions, so you choose which one is simpler for you, or you write your own definition depending on how you have understood it. Okay, let's move on. Now, still about natural resources. We have types of natural resources. We said they exist on their own, however, they also have types. What are these types? Before we go to types, let's look at examples of natural resources. Things that exist on their own and are useful to man. Land is an example, not a type, sorry for that. It's an example, not a type. Examples of natural resources, we have land, animal resource, plant resource, water resource, climate, sunshine, mineral resource, human resource, and so many other resources. Those things we've mentioned above exist on their own and are useful to man. Now, we have types of those resources. Again, they are grouped into two groups. Those natural resources we've listed are grouped into two. A is renewable resource. That's the first group, renewable resource. We are going to look at renewable resources and what it means, and then we give some examples. Then you have that's supposed to be B, not A again. It's B, and that is the non-renewable resources. non-renewable. So we are going to differentiate the two. And here are the differences. What are renewable resources? Renewable, from the word renew, to renew or new. These are things that can be made fresh or refreshed. So by definition, renewable resources, these are resources that can be replaced naturally after use. These are resources that can be replaced naturally after use. Things that you use today and you come back the following day, you find them there in place. They have come back. Meaning we cannot use the things completely. They will keep coming back on their own. You can never exhaust them. You can't use until it is completely done, because they recycle themselves, or they come to exist. They renew themselves, or they are replaced naturally. No one brings them back, but they will exist again. What are these examples of renewable resources? The resources that come to exist on their own and can be replaced naturally. No one creates them, but they will come to exist. You use them, you can't exhaust them. What are these? This is an example. Sunshine. You cannot use sunshine and finish it. You cannot use sunshine and finish it. So sunshine is an example of a renewable resource. The sun will always appear in the morning till evening, and all those 12 hours we have sunshine, and the following day we still expect it. So sunshine is an example of renewable resources. Then we have water. Water is renewable. Sometimes water bodies dry up, but when it rains, that water will still come back. That is what we call a water cycle. So the water cycle occurs, and therefore water is a renewable resource. Then we have animal resource. Animals do reproduce. So as they reproduce, they replace the ones that maybe have died or people have killed. So they come back, they reproduce, and therefore they are renewable. Plant resource. Plant can still grow. If you cut one down, you find some have come back, they have grown again, they germinate and grow naturally. So plants are renewable. Then human resource. People also do reproduce. If people could not reproduce, then they would not exist up to now. But as others die, then others are born at the same time. As the others are dying, more are being born. So human resource is renewable. Okay, let us move on. Now we have non-renewable resources. These are resources that cannot be replaced naturally. Things that you use once and they disappear, they will never come back. Those are called non-renewable resources. Once you use them, exhaust them, finish them, you will never come back the following time and find they have come back or they are still in existence. They are exhausted completely. They will never be replaced. What are these? Examples of non-renewable resources. One, minerals. When you mine a mineral, you will finish it and it will never come back there. Examples of such minerals are gold, copper, limestone, and so many others. These ones, once you use them, they are never replaceable. So they are non-renewable resources. Let's move on with our lesson. Thank you for being attentive. So we have an activity for this lesson, and here are some questions for you to answer. Very few questions, very interesting, and they come directly from what we've just learned, and I hope you will answer them positively. Number 1 says, what is a resource? Tell us the meaning of a resource. Number 2, why is sunshine referred to as a resource? Why do we call sunshine a resource? Give a reason. What are renewable resources? What are renewable resources? Number 4 says, give 2 examples of renewable resources. You've learned what renewable resources are, therefore just give 2 examples of such. Number 5, Mention any two man-made resources in Uganda. Man-made resources, things that are made by man and they are useful to him. Just name two. So we've come to the end of this lesson. I wish you well as you read through. Write the notes down. Don't forget. Don't read and then you forward, you rewind, and you ignore. Please sit down, write the notes down, and then you will be able to do the activity as it has been given to you. Thank you very much. Let us meet in the next lesson.